Hey everybody, this is Nathan Meunier, and I'm going to do a quick little video log here just to kind of give you a quick update on what I've been up to with my game projects and what's coming out this next week. Um, in April, I launched a game on Steam called Missile Cards, which is a sort of solo card game, turn-based strategy hybrid where you are defending your sort of sci-fi bases against big doom things coming down from the sky, I guess. It's kind of a mashup between Missile Command and Solitaire, very loosely. At least it was inspired by that, and it's kind of this retro-tinged um, solo card game, basically. And it's my first attempt at coding a game entirely from scratch using code. This was made in Game Maker Studio, and I'm really excited with the way the game came out, and people seem to enjoy it. It didn't do super well on Steam for a few different reasons, but people have been telling me a lot actually that they want to play it on their phone. So this past month, I've spent a couple weeks just really adapting and adjusting the code. I did a beta test to get things ready to launch on iOS. So next week, a week from today, which is today's, what is it, the 21st of June. So on June 28th, Missile Cards is going to be coming out on mobile, and it'll be available for initially iPhone and iPad as universal apps, so it should work on both. You can just buy it once and it'll play on whatever doodads you have. The beta was really encouraging. People seem to really enjoy playing it on their phones. So I'm kind of crossing my fingers that things go well. There's a lot of things that are challenging about launching a game on mobile, especially as a solo indie developer, especially as this being like my first solo mobile game on mobile. um, yeah, so I'm a little nervous. I'm really excited at the same time because I want to get this game out on the platform that people seem most inclined to play it on. Um, People have been really receptive to the game on Steam in terms of those who have purchased the game largely seem to really enjoy it, and I've got a lot of positive reviews. But it just didn't really sell the way I was hoping it would, and I kind of I expected that to an extent going in. I knew this was going to be an experimental project, which is part of the reason why, from the very beginning, the whole thing was designed to be a very short development cycle. I worked on the game for about 6 months from concept to launch, and that was intentional. The idea was to keep things very streamlined and fast in terms of development. And I got slowed down a little bit through the greenlight process because I had to wait, but that's still went through. So when the game came out in April, I had set a goal of selling 5,000 copies to break even. Essentially, that was sort of my goal, was to just break even for the time I put into making the game. And I work full time still. I'm a freelancer. I do writing professionally as like my day job, and I enjoy it. But I'm also trying to push really hard into making games on a more sustainable financial level. So even if it's just part time, like instead of just bootstrapping every project one game to the next, and just praying I'll make a little bit of income from it, I'm trying to push more towards at least part-time game development so that I can make games without feeling guilty for spending worked hours on it. And I have a lot of projects in the works, and I want to be able to put more focus into getting these things done faster and quicker and getting games out and kind of expanding and building. So Missile Cards was a bit of a palate cleanser from some of my longer projects that were taking a long time to kind of pull together. And the idea was just to make this game, make something as polished and finely tuned and fun as possible in a very short time frame. So I just wanted to get the game built, really kind of tightened up, and then launched, and then see what happened, knowing that maybe the game won't do well or maybe it would do well. You never know, regardless of what kind of game you're making, especially as someone like me who's not as established as an indie developer. I've only been doing this for about 3 years, very, very part-time. So we'll see. Yeah. Sorry, it's been a while since I've done any sort of like talking at an actual camera thing. Um, I'm excited basically to see what happens. I think the big challenge. I mean, I set a goal, as was said, of 5,000 copies for the Steam launch, and that would have basically covered the 6 months of mostly full-time work I put into it. I was working full time. Well, I was working my day job freelancing during that process, but it was kind of development came along at a period where I had a big change in my workload. So I kind of threw my energy into making this game as sort of a way to keep myself busy while I was hustling to get other gigs lined up. So the 5,000 copies sold would have given me enough to kind of make up for that time. But I ended up only selling about 320 copies to date, roughly. And it's been out for almost 2 months. So that's not great, but it wasn't entirely unexpected because for a few different reasons. I think on Steam, pixel art games kind of tend to get a bit crapped on by some players. A lot of people see a pixel art game and go, this looks like crap, or it looks like too retro, or so that's one of the reasons why I think maybe didn't do as well potentially. But also the fact that the game is a smaller game. It's priced at $4.99 on Steam, so people some people see that and go, oh well, it's not like 10, $15, so I don't want to there's a sort of a perception that maybe that because it's a shorter, smaller game that it has low value, but um, I disagree with that. But it's really just a matter of perspective, and also the fact that it's a card game. And I think if you look at Steam, card games tend to not be as hot of a genre in terms of like you look at roguelikes. Everyone wants to play roguelikes or first-person shooters or whatnot, and those genres are pretty saturated on Steam. But card games, there's not as many on there, and I think a lot of them are more tuned towards the Magic the Gathering trading card style thing, and that's cool. And I like playing those games, but I'm really excited to see more of sort of the quirkier, smaller indie experimental card games popping up. But it's still a genre that isn't really as well tuned for Steam launch versus mobile because I think the perception on Steam is that card games kind of equal casual games, which is often really not the case. But that also like playing it on a computer is a little bit harder. It's less intuitive to play a card game on a PC when it just is a natural fit for the tactile like mobile experience where you're swiping things, you're doing stuff with your hands, and be able to play it in short sessions on the go too. So long story short, the game is out on Steam and people are buying it a little bit. I'm really optimistic that the iOS version will do better. There's been a lot more enthusiasm just kind of initially, even before I had the game ready and beta tested. People were really seemed like they wanted to play it on the phone, on their phones and tablets and iThingies and whatnot. So I'm just really crossing my fingers that this next week that the launch goes well. I'd love to be able to kind of still hit that break even mark of it's I think the number of sales I need to make on iOS because it's gonna be a lower price point are higher, but um, it just seems like it's a better tuned audience. I think there's more of a market for card games on mobile. I love playing card games on mobile, so I'm kind of excited to be able to see my own project out alongside other games that I really enjoy playing. Like, gosh, I'm always plugging Arnold's work, but like Card Crawl and Card Thief, those games are great. Uh, Again, Miracle Merchant is coming out. I was beta testing that this past week, and it's super cute and fun, and really kind of has a lot of depth to it, even though it's sort of a shorter loop. Um, so what else am I playing on mobile? Gosh, I'm drawing a blank now, but and pretty much any card game that's been on mobile, I've tried it out for the most part because I'm really curious to tinker and play with other games. Solitaire is another good example. That's a game too, like that's on Steam, and it seems like it's done okay on Steam, but from what the developers are telling me, that they had a much better run on mobile. So I'm cautiously optimistic to kind of be able to have my card game projects on mobile and see what happens. And it feels good to finally have gotten through the process where I'm actually able to figure out the pipeline from getting Game Maker Studio to my Mac to getting the game up on the app, adding the back-end app store and getting it all set up. And I'm excited to see what happens. If the game does well, that's going to be kind of a big relief, I think. This month the work is kind of thinned out, so I was pushing hard to kind of keep working full time and also just finish this up, but I'm having some workflow challenges because I have less clients now. I've been focusing more on making game stuff. But I realized that if this game doesn't do well financially, I'm going to have to kind of switch gears back and really hustle on the freelancing again and try to get more clients lined up and get things back on an even keel, which is kind of stressful and challenging. I've been doing that been freelancing for over 10 years now, and every couple of years it seems like there's a lot of turnover in just the workload. So while I do enjoy it and I enjoy working for the clients I'm still working for, that sort of everything falling apart and then having to rebuild from scratch is just wearing away at me a little bit. Really, I realized too that making indie games is an equally challenging and not sure thing in terms of career-wise. So what I'm hoping to do going forward is do more of the different core pillars of things I enjoy doing. So freelancing I'd like to push that back to part-time if I'm able to, but we'll see. Part-time freelancing would be great. While also doing book writing, I'm working on a few new book projects. Some of them are actually game related, so that's going to be kind of fun to see how that works out. And I've got so many game projects I want to have the time to be able to finish. And funding has been a big challenge in terms of being able to feel like I can put the time into making these projects without feeling guilty that I'm letting things backslide. Because I've got a mortgage, I've got lots of pets. My wife and I work really hard, so we do okay, but still it's like a struggle to kind of keep up with this money pit we live in, and other challenges. So I'm pushing hard to see what I can make of this launch, and we'll go from there, I guess. So the game Missile Cards is going to be out next week on Wednesday. I'm really hoping it gets featured on the App Storefront, but you never know. I'm not counting on that. I'm just going to hustle my butt off and see what I can do to get some momentum. Places like Touch Arcade and Pocket Tactics and some other places I've done some initial coverage even before the game is out. So that's really exciting. Hopefully more people will pick it up and give it a chance to get the word out a little bit more than I can do just on my own. But at the same time, I'm going to be hustling like crazy for the next week to get the word out and hopefully get some reviews together and see what people think. So yeah, fingers crossed. Thanks for watching this weird video blog. I'm going to try to do more of this type stuff going forward. I think people see me type at them a lot on the internet, or I'm typing on blogs or talking on podcasts. So actually being able to see, hey, I'm a human being. I could peel my skin off and reveal all the circuits and robotic underneath metal parts underneath, but that would be kind of weird. Yeah, so that's it, I guess. Wish me luck. 1 week, Missile Cards on mobile. It's going to be a little terrifying. Here we go. Peace.